A shocking arrest for an 84-year-old man. We talked with James Pelfrey. Police say he killed 2 women in a crash earlier this year.
One of the men arrested in connection to the shooting death of 15-year-old Trinity Gay was in front of a judge this afternoon for violating his probation.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a program in Jessamine County designed to curb the stray and feral cat population.
This is WKYT News at 5.
A tragic situation. Police say he caused a crash that killed 2 people. And now, 4 months later, an 84-year-old man is in jail charged in those deaths.
Police had originally said James Pelfrey was blinded by bright lights when he crashed into 2 cars while waiting at a red light. But now he's facing 2 counts of manslaughter. WKYT's Caitlin Setner explains why Pelfrey has just now been arrested. It's our top story at 5.
Police say there had always been an opportunity for charges to come in this case, but for 84-year-old James Pelfrey, he says this is shocking. He says up until now, police told him it was all just an accident.
Well, I know I was involved in a terrible accident, but I was blinded with the headlights when I came out of Kroger's, and I couldn't see what was going on.
2 women in the same car died, 62-year-old Sarah Helfrich and 35-year-old Juanetta Mitchell. A grand jury returned with an indictment for Pelfrey. He faces 2 counts of second-degree manslaughter and 1 count of second-degree assault. The decision comes after police turned over vehicle data and reconstruction findings, according to the Winchester police chief. Pelfrey said he was leaving Kroger and headed down the Winchester bypass when he hit the car at the intersection of Colby Road. Originally, witnesses had told police they thought the 2 drivers were drag racing. However, Pelfrey says he was blinded by bright lights and didn't see cars stopped.
I treasure life, and I'm sorry every day and pray every night for the people that lost their lives in the accident. I can't say any more than that. I just tell the truth to the best of my knowledge of what happened.
Pelfrey was arrested last night and he is behind bars here at the Clark County Detention Center in Winchester. Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Pelfrey's arraignment has not yet been scheduled.
A man charged in connection to the shooting death of Olympian Tyson Gay's daughter will stay in jail for now. Devontae Middlebrooks and 3 others are charged with wanton endangerment in connection with Trinity Gay's death nearly 2 weeks ago. Middlebrooks was on probation at the time of the shooting. And as WKYT's Hillary Thornton reports, he will now have to serve out his sentence.
He is one of the men arrested in connection to the shooting death of 15-year-old Trinity Gay. Today, Devontae Middlebrooks in front of a judge here in Fayette County Circuit Court on a different case. The 21-year-old on probation for convictions on drug offenses. That probation revoked today by Judge Pamela Goodwine. Judge Goodwine saying Middlebrooks was alleged to be in violation for leaving his area of supervision even before his latest arrest and charges. Those newest charges being in relation to the shooting in the parking lot of a Lexington restaurant. Connected to that shooting, Middlebrooks facing charges of wanton endangerment and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. In that arrest citation, admitting to firing shots in the parking lot when 15-year-old Trinity Gay was hit. The case is against 3 other men also charged with wanton endangerment in that shooting, already sent to the grand jury. Meanwhile, Middlebrooks' preliminary hearing was rescheduled, so his attorney in that case, different from the one standing beside him today, could attend. The preliminary hearing for Middlebrooks' wanton endangerment case is set for November 15th. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Middlebrooks had been given a sentence of 12 months with credit for time served.
There's nothing but sunshine in the bluegrass today, and by Halloween, we could be looking at record high temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is live for us in the WKYT Weather Garden, enjoying this fine Friday. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets, Amber. Hope that everyone is getting a chance to get out and enjoy it today. You know what? If not, we're going to give you a mulligan. You will have an opportunity tomorrow into most of Sunday, then into the early part of next week as well. But in our WKYT Weather Garden, as good as it gets. I've done a lot of live shots through the years out here, and this is one of my favorites. I can tell you that, given the weather. Let's take a look at a different sky cam. Here we are in the weather garden back here, and you notice still quite a bit of fall foliage hanging onto the trees here, though I'm noticing in the distance many of the leaves are now long gone. Let's take a look at what all is going on with your Defender radar network. Nothing across Kentucky. A little high cloud cover, and seeing that on the western horizon as of now. That is with a warm front that is leading the charge to an absolutely warm, almost Labor Day feeling weekend as opposed to Halloween feeling. That 3-day threat track. Windy tomorrow, warm temperatures. There's a small chance for a shower coming up as we go into the day on Sunday. And by the time we roll into Monday, it looks really, really good again with those temperatures over the next 3 days. Generally 75 to 80 across the entire area. Now, when I come back here in a little more than 5 minutes, we'll focus on a forecast that includes the possibility of those record high temperatures, and also we'll be dealing with some changes, though, lurking for the middle and end of next week. We'll break it all down, guys, in just a few.
A young couple lost everything in a huge fire this morning in Powell County. That fire started about 5 this morning at a home on 5th Avenue in Clay City. First responders tell us the flames were nearly 30 feet high when they arrived on the scene. The flames were so intense that the heat from them damaged a neighboring home. Firefighters say the homeowner was renting out the home to a man and his pregnant girlfriend who were inside at the time. They managed, though, to escape unharmed. Firefighters say they had trouble fighting the fire because the local fire department is all volunteer.
Everybody's at their main jobs or didn't hear the call come out this morning. 4 volunteers showed up this morning for the structure fire, and they didn't have enough manpower to help put it out, so we had to call the surrounding counties to come out.
Coming up on WKYT News at 6, we'll have more on the struggle that rural communities have with staffing fire departments and what lawmakers are doing to try to help.
A northern Kentucky mother is facing felony assault charges after allegedly attacking a school bus driver. Our county-by-county coverage at 5 begins in Kenton County. According to police, Barbara Dobbs got on the school bus after her daughter was dropped off at her house. Police say there was a verbal dispute and Dobbs punched the driver and shoved a bus monitor. The driver has minor injuries to his face. Dobbs was charged with third-degree assault on a school employee. In Whitley County, a man is accused of trying to pass fake $100 bills. Roy Wells is charged with 2 counts of forgery. Deputies say he tried passing fake bills at a bank and a gas station in Corbin. This is the second counterfeit cash case in Whitley County this month. Deputies say the fake bills Wells used have a vertical ribbon on them. In the other case, the bills did not have the ribbon. And in Knox County, the second of 2 inmates who escaped from jail is back behind bars. Jail officials say deputies returned John Gray back to the Knox County Detention Center early this morning. Gray and Tommy Witt escaped a week ago while working to unload a food truck. Witt has already turned himself in.
Donald Trump has new ammunition against Hillary Clinton. Newly discovered emails have prompted a new FBI review. And the latest poll shows Trump is closing the gap. Craig Boswell has our campaign 2016 coverage.
Hillary Clinton's campaign is dealing with a potential setback. The FBI announced it was reviewing a new batch of emails related to the investigation of Clinton's private email server while she was Secretary of State. In a letter to members of Congress, Director Comey said the FBI has learned of the existence of emails that appear to be pertinent to the investigation. The new emails were discovered during an FBI investigation into Anthony Weiner's alleged sexting scandal. The former New York lawmaker is the estranged husband of Clinton aide Huma Abedin.
The people high-fiving now are Republicans on Capitol Hill, and Republicans are going to bludgeon her with this over the next 11 days.
Donald Trump has made the outcome of the FBI's probe a focus of his campaign against Clinton.
They are reopening the case into her criminal and illegal conduct.
The latest national poll shows Hillary Clinton maintains a 4-point edge over Trump.
We've got to keep our foot on the gas.
Clinton did not mention today's revelation as she campaigned in Iowa and focused on getting out the vote. But her campaign manager, John Podesta, urged Comey to explain the latest developments. In a statement, Podesta said the director owes it to the American people to immediately provide the full details of what he is now examining. There are 11 days remaining before Election Day. Early voting is already underway in Florida and 35 other states where 16 million people have voted so far. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
Clinton's campaign team announced that Vice President Joe Biden is at the top of her list to become Secretary of State.
One central Kentucky county has too many stray and feral cats. A volunteer-based group in Jessamine County is trying to help fix the problem. But as WKYT's Mike Linden reports, it isn't cheap.
For the past several years, a group in Jessamine County has tried to fight back against the stray and feral cat population.
You can have one male and one female. By the end of the year, there's 10 kittens, and then those 10 kittens start having 10 kittens, and it gets out of control very quickly.
The mission of the Jessamine County Trap, Neuter, Return program is in the name. Trap, neuter, and eventually return the cats to where they came from.
In 2015, we fixed about 550 cats.
Now, Keeley says the goal of the program is to trap the cats as humanely as possible, and that's done using a trap like this, where a cat will walk in to try to get food, step on this plate, and the trap closes behind them.
For a largely volunteer-based operation, tending to cat colonies in the rural parts of the county can quickly become expensive.
It costs us an average of $800 to $1,000 every month in products. We're also putting flea control on these animals, so there is cost.
With more cat colonies popping up on farms almost every day, the group is just trying to keep up.
We're doing our part to improve the lives of these cats and the lives of the community members to control the population.
In Jessamine County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Well, the group is looking to the community to help fund the operations for the cats to get fixed. To make a donation, go to WKYT.com and click on this story.
The principal of a Lexington Middle School had a big surprise for his students today after they raised thousands of dollars. That story's coming up in 10 minutes.
Your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Great weather across central and eastern Kentucky. It's after 5 o'clock. It's a Friday. Hello weekend. We can officially say it now, and it's no ordinary weekend. It's Halloween weekend. You've got beautiful weather, and if anything, it's actually going to get a lot better. If you're a fan of late summer, we have you covered coming this weekend into the first couple of days of November. Let's take a little look and see what's going on right now. Some high clouds are streaming on in. Temperatures farther north, northeast you live, a little cooler with 60s. To the south, 70s are showing up. That's that warm front that continues to zip its way onto the north and northeast. Winds, by the way, 5-10 miles an hour. We'll gust those up as we go through the next couple of days. That wind gust forecast will show you how at times tomorrow you can see those gusts that can approach 15-20 miles per hour into the afternoon. And then as we go towards Sunday, gusty winds may increase a little bit ahead of a cold front that is off to our north and northeast. And that's going to be something we'll keep a very close eye on. Defender radar network, by the way, is not picking up on very much at all across the Bluegrass State. Don't expect a whole lot over the next few days outside of a small chance as we go into the day on your Sunday. That hour-by-hour forecast now will show you as we get deeper into the weekend, the chance is there for at least an isolated shower. Tonight into tomorrow, the numbers really begin to take off, and by the afternoon, we could see those temperatures topping out into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Absolutely ridiculous, but I think we'll take this kind of ridiculousness. Into Sunday, 50s to around 60 to start. Late day, watch the northern sky. Could be an isolated shower or two trying to fire up by that time. But the overall pattern over the next several days dominated by high pressure that will be anchoring itself across the southeastern part of the country. That's going to put Kentucky, it's going to put the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and all the way into the deep south into a zone where you can get some record highs. Generally, each and every day should range from the bottom, would be mid-70s, to the max would be low 80s into early parts of next week. Crazy stuff. 7-day forecast. We're going to be dealing with the potential for a cold front to slam in here next Thursday. That may put an end to that record-setting warm wave that we have across the Ohio Valley. I think that will put an end to it. We'll see temperatures coming down into the 60s and a chance for a shower thunderstorm starting Thursday. That may carry us into Friday as well. But between now and then, it's a continuation of the pattern that we've been in since August with much warmer than normal temperatures across central and eastern Kentucky. And it looks like it's going to continue for at least a few more days.
Well, Chris, I guess we'll just all sweat it out together in our Halloween costumes, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Thanks, Chris. After the break, Lexington Park getting into the Halloween spirit, speaking of that, but city officials are not sure who to thank. A fire broke out on an American Airlines plane at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport this afternoon. Look at this, heavy black smoke and flames. There it is right there. An FAA spokesman says the fire was caused by a blown tire. It had damaged an engine. The passengers were evacuated from the plane, which was heading for Miami. The FAA says that no one was injured.
If you head out to Woodland Park in Lexington this weekend, you might notice a giant spider web, but this one is made of yarn. Take a look. According to our news partners at the Lexington Herald Leader, city officials don't know who spun this web, but since people seem to be enjoying it, it's going to stay up until Halloween. That is pretty cool.
That took some time.
It did take some time.
This is a lot of fun. A lesson well learned by the students at Crawford Middle in Lexington is being rewarded by their principal.
Now, he made a deal with the students that if they met a recent fundraising goal, he would do something special for them. And now he's making good on that promise. WKYT's Andrea Walker has the story.
All eyes are on Principal Mike Jones at Crawford Middle School today, whose fairy costume is causing quite the stir among students and staff.
I know it's hard for me to conduct business necessarily dressed like this today, but I hope you all like my attire.
But believe it or not, his get-up has nothing to do with Halloween.
The students are reading a book called A Long Walk to Water, and it takes place in the Sudan. And the kids were inspired so much by the book that they wanted to raise money, $1,000, to buy a water well to place in the Sudan.
When Jones found out what his students were doing, he decided to give them a little extra incentive to meet their goal.
I told the kids if they could raise the money that I would do something funny. And so I guess this is where we are. I'm dressed up as a fairy today.
The students raised the money by collecting donations from teachers and by selling Boo Grams, aka Halloween candy like this.
At 50 cents a pop, the students sold a lot of candy, not only meeting their goal, but exceeding it by more than $300 so far. Their teacher, Mrs. Green, tells us she is just beaming with pride.
This was totally the kids' project. This was their heart and their soul and their hard work that went into this.
And they're pretty proud of themselves as well.
It feels good, knowing that you're not taking it yourself, but you're taking it other people.
We are the smallest middle school in Fayette County, but I like to say we have the biggest heart, and they have definitely shown this during this time.
You like it?
Oh my God.
That's outstanding.
In Lexington, Andrea Walker, WKYT.
Well, big congratulations to those students. Now, after exceeding their first goal, the students are now trying to raise $2,000 to buy not one, but 2 clean water wells for the people of Sudan. If you'd like to donate or learn more, go to WKYT.com and click on this story to find out how.
Police in Pulaski County have responded to the same street twice after receiving animal death complaints. That story is coming up at 5:30.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. With Halloween just days away, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is issuing a special warning about decorative contact lenses. Paxton is warning the special lenses could cause serious injuries to the eye, including infections and loss of vision. They're often marketed as costume or colored lenses, but in order to avoid long-term issues, the Attorney General recommends they be prescribed by a doctor. It's a message optometrists are supporting.
All contacts, if it's going on your eye, they're a medical device, and they've always been treated that way.
The Attorney General's office is now urging people celebrating Halloween to avoid buying the lenses off street vendors and convenience and dollar stores. A 5-year-old Tennessee boy will be recovering from heart surgery instead of trick-or-treating on Halloween. As Kelsey Lair from our sister station WVLT shows us, the Knoxville station treated little Gabriel to an early Halloween.
When it came time to pick this year's Halloween costume, there was never a question what Gabriel Hodgson would choose.
You ready, Mickey Mouse?
Ready.
More than anything this year, he wanted to be Mickey Mouse Clubhouse in his car, riding around, and I thought, is that really possible?
At just 5 years old, life has handed Gabriel more tricks than treats.
Gabriel has spinal muscular atrophy. What it does is it takes away his muscles over time, and he'll lose all of his abilities. Gabriel, you gonna put this on?
Couple that with heart surgery on Thursday. And trick-or-treating like the other kids is pretty much out of the question.
So I said, I've got to do something for him. 5 years old and not being able to enjoy all the holidays that most kids do, it's not very fair to him.
So about a week ago, Uriah came to Local 8 News for help. And together, we came up with a plan to give Gabriel the Halloween he deserves. Instead of door to door, Gabriel came to WVLT and went cubicle to cubicle.
Happy Halloween. Oh my goodness, there's some candy.
Desk to desk.
Okay, I'm gonna give you several things. A big old bag of Skittles.
Sales office to newsroom.
High five right here. There we go.
Racking up more candy than his bag could hold.
Look at all that candy.
I'm not sure how to describe stuff like this in words when it's so meaningful. What you guys did here helped to maybe make him feel a little bit better and a little bit more cheerful and to have a little more fun.
With each, he's filling his life with happiness. One handful at a time.
It's a real struggle, but moments like this are what give us a little bit of hope and a little bit of strength and give him a lot of happiness.
And we are very proud of our friends down there in Knoxville. By the way, that was Kelsey Lair reporting. Now, if you are interested in following Gabriel's story, his parents have set up a Facebook page called Growing with Gabriel. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.